Okay, we are going to be watching another Christina Randall video, and I've been growing pretty fond of this content creator. As a matter of fact, she explains things pretty simply, and I appreciate that because I'm not smart. And when people explain to me in very simple ways, I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot, and I've been able to understand her very, very clearly. So if you like this type of content and want some more content like this, always be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you are new around here, we're aiming for 50,000 by the end of the year. If we can hit that goal, it would mean oh so much. And you don't have to, but it is appreciated. So thank you so much for checking out the video. So let's go ahead and check out this video.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Chris Watts' mother, Cindy Watts' new book. I'm going to be telling you guys some...
Wait, she has a book? Why does Cindy Watts have a book? This should be interesting. Now, you guys know I did react to the interview that I can't remember who interviewed her. I want to say it was Dr. Phil. I could be completely wrong about that, so of course don't quote me. I don't think it was Dr. Phil. I think it was someone else. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was someone else who interviewed her. Well, she was interviewed, and I did not like the idea that this woman was going directly after Shanann, almost accusing Shanann of being responsible of why Chris did what he did, and I just did not like that because, in my opinion, Shanann's side of the family lost their daughter. At least, you know, Chris Watts you can still visit. The fact that you pointed the finger at Shanann as the one responsible after all of it went down is a bit crazy in my eyes. Now, obviously, this is also her son. I'm not going to hate her for defending her son no matter what she can do, obviously, but look at the facts. The guy obviously did it. That's news to me. A lot of this stuff is news to me.
Some of the things that she said in her book that I thought was interesting or whatever. And I'm also going to be telling you guys about the weird things that's been going on in my house ever since I've been diving deeper into this Chris Watts case. You guys know I haven't really wanted to talk about it because it kind of freaks me out, but today I'm going to tell you. Just so you guys know, this video is only to report on the news, talk about a public book that is out there, and for entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everyone in your everyday life, at your work, in your home, and as well in the comment section down below. And let's get into it.
All right, Christina. Let's see what you got.
Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber,
subscriber.
So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing
I'm doing
day.
okay.
So no, I did not buy the Cindy Watts book, but I did find it online. I mean, it's everywhere. You guys can see. And I've gone over it multiple times, and I definitely have some opinions. First, we will get into the weird things that's been going on in my house. Now,
I personally won't read it. Personally, I'm not good with books. I've tried to read books. My mind goes other places. It just doesn't work. So I would much rather listen to someone talk about the book than me actually sit down and read the book. So
I've been wanting to tell you guys about this, but I kept wanting to wait until I wasn't home alone because it just creeps me out. But anytime that I'm not home alone, the house is like loud and I can't get into it. So I am going to bite the bullet and go for it today. First thing is, I want to tell you guys that in my life, I have had like maybe, you know, spooky things happen, you know, things that could be questionable, paranormal, whatever you want to call it. You guys know my spiritual beliefs. I do believe in God, Jesus, all of that good, beautiful, lovely stuff there. You guys also know, if you're not new here,
Same,
that no
honestly.
matter what your beliefs are, I love you and I respect you, and that's it. But
very much similar to me. I'm actually a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the devil. I believe in Jesus. I believe in all that good stuff too. But I also respect everybody else's opinions. Like, if you don't believe, I'm not going to sit there and criticize you for not believing. I'm not going to bash you. I'm not going to say that you're going to hell. I'm not going to be what those unfortunately, what Christians are made out to be in today's society, which is just judgmental assholes. Not really spreading love at that point. They're just being assholes really about it. And yeah, they're giving Christianity a bad name. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm the same way, though. I don't judge.
With my beliefs, I definitely believe in the spiritual realm. I definitely believe in evil forces and stuff like that. Now, what happened was when I started diving into this Chris Watts case, like deeper, more than just what you see on the news or whatever. I mean, anything from like watching YouTube videos or whatever. When I am home alone, I would hear sounds in my house that I never heard. And I always got the chills watching videos or reading things about him, like constantly getting the chills. And that's not it, okay? We're gonna get into it too. But the thing about it is, Chris Watts claims that some force took over him. Now, I don't know if that's true or not because I'm not Chris Watts, and to be honest, he tells so many doggone lies, you can't keep up with it. Nobody really knows what's real or what's not. He's told so many different stories. I mean, we don't really know.
To be honest, I do think Chris Watts is full of shit, and I think he's blaming everything else on anything he can possibly blame it on, because he does not want to take the full-on credit for what happened. He does not want to take all the fault. He wants to get out of prison. So I just think he's full of shit. I wouldn't trust a word this guy says at this point. Absolutely not.
You know, like it's like he says something that seems like it could make sense and be true, and then he turns around and says something else that seems like it could make sense and be true, and then he says something else, and you've got so many stories, you're like, what, you know, what is it? You know, we have to make our own, I guess, decisions about it.
Right.
The last time when you guys watched my other Chris Watts videos and I told you that something weird was happening in my house, I'm going to tell you guys what happened. I was getting ready to put Jaden to bed, and this night or this day I was all in it. I filmed it, edited it, you know, and the thing about you guys may not realize is when you do YouTube, right, a lot of people think, YouTube, I can do that, which you can. I mean, anybody can do YouTube, but
it's challenging.
Not just you film a video, pop it up, okay? You have to think about the concept or the topic, right? So we'll say Chris Watts. I have to think about Chris Watts, okay? Then I have to watch videos or read articles or read stuff, okay, and gather my information, write it down, make cliff notes if I want to write down things that I don't want to forget, because Lord knows I'm super forgetful. And then I have to film the video, right? So then that takes time. Then I have to sit in front of a computer listening to myself talk about this subject for 8 hours, whatever it takes that day, over and over and over again. So it's not, so you literally, on a day that I've done Chris Watts, I'm spending 8 whatever hours just thinking about it and hearing it and getting the chills and getting these weird vibes.
Honestly, and I'm a reactor. So you would probably think mentally that there's not a whole lot that goes into a reaction video. On the contrary, depending on what kind of stuff you're reacting to, it can take hours upon hours to edit this content. When I was doing movie reactions, as a matter of fact, the reason why I don't do movie reactions as often as I used to is because my arms got nerve damage because I was sitting there editing for hours on end, to the point where my arms actually started to get damaged because of it. So it does take hours. It used to take me almost half a day just to edit a movie reaction. Yeah, to try to make it work for copyright purposes, and then to upload it, which could take another few hours. Back then, my computer was kind of garbage, so it would take up to like 2 hours just to upload a movie reaction, and then to post it, and then go and do another movie reaction, so I have one for next week. And I mean, this was stuff I was doing all the time. And now, unless you're doing like live streams all the time where you just discuss stuff with your audience, I mean, that could be pretty simple. That could be pretty easy, you know, having conversations with your audience and then, you know, ending the live stream and then doing another one the next day. That could be easy. When it comes to actually like making content like her, like doing all that research and stuff, it could be a bit draining for sure. You want to know what you're talking about before you start doing it. Now, with my stuff, it's kind of different because I'm just a reactor who's kind of learning as he goes. I'm not really doing my research. I'm actually learning as I watch. So yeah, it's certainly, it can be a challenge for sure. It's not as easy as most people make it up to be. When they say, you know, get a real job, it's like, clearly you've never done YouTube. I can't stand when people say get a real job and they've never done YouTube, because YouTube can be stressful. It can be a lot. They can sit there and think what they want, but yeah, YouTube can be a very stressful thing.
Well, this particular day was really, really creepy, you guys. And I was putting Jaden to bed, and I went into the garage. And when I went into the garage, when I turned the light on, way over by the garage was this big black shadowy, I don't want to say a dark force because I don't know if that's too much or whatever, but this big black shadowy thing, and it like moved under the boxes really quick. And the thing is, oh man, I got chills all down my legs thinking about it. I didn't see the shadowy force or whatever it was when the light was off. It was when I turned the light on, okay? Oh, you guys. I stood there for a minute and I just looked. I kind of stood up on my tippy toes to see if because I was looking for something that would have made it make sense. And so I turned the light off. I did not go into the garage, and I locked the door. So I'm like literally in my mind trying to rationalize what this could be, what I saw, whatever.
And I do believe you. I do believe that you saw something, and I do believe all that stuff. But do you think it could have been paranoia? And I'm not trying to make you sound like you're crazy, because I hate when people make people feel like they're crazy for seeing stuff. I don't think you're crazy at all. I'm just saying, like, when especially like if you're looking up a lot of true crime stuff, which I have done. I mean, I have watched a lot of true crime content, and I have gotten paranoid, especially where I'm at my security job and I'm in this little shack. I think about that shit all the time. What would happen if some guy just decided to break down the door and come at me with a knife? There's not many places to run. I'm kind of done. Things I think about. And I remember there was one night where I was looking at the cameras, and I saw someone standing there in the middle of like this yard where I do security at, and he's just staring at the camera, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, do I need to call the police? Because he's just standing there looking at the camera, and finally he stops doing what he's doing and just walks away. It really made me paranoid that night. I thought something was going to happen. And then I remember when someone asked me if there was like, apparently they said they saw someone walking over on the certain side of the building, and they wanted to know if security would like to go check it out. And we were like, fuck. And we just I thankfully the other guy went and checked it for me. And he said, I'm going to go in the Jeep and just drive over there and see if there's anybody over there. And I'm like, that's a better idea than me walking over there. So we got in the Jeep and drove over there, and nobody was there. But yeah, still freaky. And you do see things, and you do get paranoid. I certainly do. I mean, there's like woods around the area, so like every time I hear something out of the woods, I think there's someone over there. And yeah, it's one of those things. It could be paranoia. It could have been like maybe the shadowing hitting whatever, and maybe when it moved, it just went and got smaller and ducked down between the boxes. You never know. But I do believe you. I do believe that you saw something, and I wouldn't doubt that. Maybe reading and watching this stuff can conjure shit. It's very possible. I mean, we don't know how the spiritual world works. I mean, for all we know, this could be leading into something that could be dark. Yeah.
Later on, I got Jaden in my bed because he sleeps with me, but sometimes he goes to sleep in his bed. If he has to go to bed at a certain time, he goes to sleep in his bed, and then I pick him up, carry him into the bed with me, because if it's just he and I here, I don't want him on one side of the house and me on the other. Even though we've got tons of cameras, full alarm system, the whole nine, I still want him sleeping with me. So I moved him into the
That's good.
other side of the house, into my bed, and in the kitchen I saw another or the same big black shadow thing, and it freaked me out, you guys. It did. And I started praying. I prayed. I was singing songs, trying to fill my house full of the good aura and the spirits that I believe. The next day or I kept thinking about it, like, what could that, like, this is so weird. Like, I've never personally seen something like this before. I've seen other creepy things, like I've told you guys, and I've seen other things, and I've heard sounds, and I've been in really creepy places, but nothing like this. And I kept thinking about it, so I reached out to a lady that is like high in the church. I don't know if that would be the word. Like, she's a very spirit-filled woman, and I told her about it because I was like, this is weird. Like, this is whatever. I was like, something about this case, I cannot tell if it's something trying to stop me from talking about it because I should be talking about it, or if I should not be talking about it and I'm inviting something into my own home. So we talked about it a lot, prayed about it, and been really trying to do whatever. Okay, so that's why I never bought the book, although I was planning on buying the book, because I did not want to bring anything else into my home. So yes, since then, I have not really done anything on the Chris Watts case. I was trying to watch videos a couple nights ago on YouTube of other people that had the book and maybe just hear their opinion and see what they had to say, because I looked it up on Amazon. The book is for sale on Amazon, and I was reading the reviews, and the reviews are horrible. So this particular night I figured, okay, I'll just watch some videos. So I was laying in the bed with Jaden. Jaden was asleep. And you guys, I tell you, as soon as I start watching these videos, the chills come back. I would hear little noises in my living room, and it could be anything. I'll be honest with you guys. It could be the fish tank doing something funny. It could be, a
And again, I don't want to keep cutting her off. And this is very, very fascinating that she's even talking about this. I appreciate you sharing, personal information. And I hope if this helps you in any sort of way, kind of understand what I think could be happening, then that's awesome. But I mean, for all we know, this could be actually paranormal. I mean, I've heard things said like, one of the reasons why the devil makes it so hard on certain people, like life will get so hard, is because the devil's trying to break you down because he views you as a threat. Right? I mean, that's one of the things that went around, and I do believe that. I do believe that, one of the reasons why life gets harder for some people is because, or maybe like emotionally harder for people, and depression kicks in and shit like that, is because the devil is trying to break you. And I kind of view my depression in a sense like that. Like the devil's trying to, make me sorrowful. He's trying to break me, and I'm not going to let him break me. I'm not going to be that easily broken. Like maybe if there was any sort of entity or dark force at hand here, maybe was trying to just push her away. I wonder if any other content creators has gone through something like this, who have covered the Chris Watts case. That's something you maybe should reach out to and talk about with other true crime content creators. Maybe they have experienced similar things. Because why wouldn't they, right? Why wouldn't they experience different things? I don't know. It's something interesting maybe to even kind of discuss with them. Maybe see if like they've ever experienced anything weird when talking about this. For sure. I think that'd be kind of neat.
Tree limb falling or tapping a window or whatever. It could be something that makes logical sense, but it's so weird that every time I dive into this case, weird things start happening in my home. So, alrighty, now that I've told you guys that, let me know what you think. If any of you guys had the same experiences or similar experiences, I would love to know.
And I'm curious, do you get, like, if you ever gotten paranoid listening to videos, like getting creeped out? Because some of these videos on YouTube can be very creepy when it comes to the true crime content, because it actually put you in like an atmospheric mood. Does it like affect you? Because yeah, paranoia will make even a slight noise like a fish tank come off like someone's like shooting a gun off in your house. You'll be so paranoid, right? I mean, it can happen for sure. And I'm not sure how paranoid you can get, but it's definitely can happen. Like, for example, if you watch a horror film, do you feel freaked out in watching a horror film? Because it can happen. But it's just a concept. I mean, obviously, this is something that you probably thought of yourself, but, I mean, clearly you have. So, just an idea.
If I'm alone out here, bah! Or, whatever. So, other than that, let's just get into this Cindy Watts book.
Okay.
Now, I've watched interviews with Cindy Watts, and you guys, I don't like to talk about nobody. Listen, at the end of the day, she is a mother who has lost her son, basically, and her daughter-in-law, no matter how she felt about her, and her grandchildren that came from her son, okay? And no matter who you are, if you are whatever type of personality type or any kind of mental illnesses that you may have, that's hard. That's hard for anybody, and I cannot imagine what she has gone through, what Shanann's family has gone through, what other people have gone through. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk a lot about Cindy Watts. That does not mean that I don't feel sad for Shanann's family or for Shanann or for the kids. It's just that this video is going to be about, what she said and how I feel about it. So if you guys want me to talk about other aspects.
I love that you're as respectful as you are. I think I appreciate that, because I do agree with you. I was making sure in the video when I was reacting to her interview, I wanted people to know that I genuinely felt bad for her. And I do feel bad for her. Obviously, she has gone through a very serious loss. Of course I feel bad for her, but some of the things that she has said, I'm not really a fan of. She has said some pretty not so amazing things, especially towards Shanann, who lost her life in this situation. Like, and when I say these things, I mean be a little bit more considerate of the other family. I don't know if they're going to appreciate you after they lost their daughter by your son. I'm not sure if they're going to appreciate you saying that it was Shanann's fault. Or trying to make it sound like the blame should be placed on Shanann because she treated your son so poorly. It's a little insensitive. Now, obviously, she has gone through a lot too, but yes, some of the things she has said, I'm not a fan of. I wasn't then, and I'm not now. That's just my opinion.
So let me know down below. But other than that, I'm gonna try to stay on topic because you guys know that I veer off and I just ramble, and I'm gonna try.
Same way.
I'm gonna give it my best shot. So one of the things I thought was interesting was in this book, she talked about her grieving process with Shanann and about how a lot of people were like upset that she was not basically, and I'm paraphrasing everything here, putting it all in my own words. This is not exactly what she said, but basically because she wasn't like on the news, like crying about Shanann being killed and da. And she basically more or less was saying like, she felt like she would be a hypocrite, right? She didn't feel like that with Shanann when she was on the earth. So she didn't want to be one of those people that was like, ooh, you know, doing that online at the same time. And I get that. I understand that. Still a little weird to me, be honest with you guys, but I can understand what she is saying. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I get what she's trying to say with that part. Another thing I thought was interesting was she was saying, as a mother, I cannot make this right. I cannot make this right for Chris. I cannot make this right for the world, because they are deemed like one of the most hated, like, or if not the most hated family in America right now. I've heard that somewhere. And I get what that is, because like as a mother, and you guys know, mothers, fathers, grandmas, papas, all y'all out there, we want, when our children, especially when they're like really in something that's hurting them, we want to make it right for them, right? We want to fix it. We wish that we could take the pain away. And so I understood what she meant by that as well, that as a mother, I cannot make that right for him. Does that mean that I don't have my other opinions about if she should make it right or whatever? No, that doesn't mean that I don't have other opinions. But what I'm saying is I understand her. Another thing that she was very interesting that she was talking about with Shanann was that she said that Shanann was very open about her personal issues, and that made Cindy uncomfortable. Okay, she said that like immediately when she met Shanann, like Shanann was telling her like about how she was sick or she was divorced or, you know, all of these different things, and that Cindy is not like that. Cindy's a very private person that does not talk about her personal business or her struggles or whatever.
I will say this before, I don't want to hear her opinion first. I want to say my opinion on that before I hear her opinion. In my personal opinion, it's a very odd thing to critique in a sense. Like, I guess it makes sense. There might be some people out there, you know, example, Cindy Watts is one of those people who doesn't like to hear your personal problems. But let's say if Shanann viewed you as family and wanted to vent to you, I feel like she should feel comfortable to vent to you if she needs to. Right? You want to, and normally, you know, mother-in-laws or father-in-laws or whatnot would like to be there for them when they need to be there for them, right? So it's very odd that, yeah, now she's saying these things. Right? It's just odd. To me, it's odd that she would critique that when it's just a family member trying to vent to another family member.
And that made Cindy feel uncomfortable. That again, I can understand, because I am the person who is very open about what I'm going through, okay? I'm a private person about some things. If it like affects other people, if it's gonna affect my children in a certain way, or my husband or my grandmother or whatever, those things I can be private about. But when it comes to me, I'm a very open person as well. So I get Shanann wanting to rub up to or open up to her mother-in-law. Listen, I'm a daughter-in-law myself, okay? And I really wish Cindy would have saw it that way instead of judging her, because that kind of makes me feel like maybe from the beginning, Cindy just did not like Shanann. I mean, she was dating her baby boy. And let me tell you right now, I have been in relationships with people whose mothers are like that. No matter how good you are, no matter what you do, whatever, you are not good enough for their baby boy. Some of y'all mamas out there are like that, okay? I love y'all, but you know you are. Listen, my mother-in-law, okay, although we are very, very close, I love her, I'd do anything for her. She could call me right now, I'd turn off this camera, go pick her up, whatever she needs. Me and her talk every single day. I love her very much. But Jeremy is her baby boy, okay? And that, no matter how close me and her are, that is her baby boy, okay? And I understand that, and I respect that.
She will pick his
okay?
side
And
any day, yeah.
That's her son, and I'm a mom, so I get it. But I feel like Cindy, you know, like, so what she wants to open up to you and tell you what she's going through. So what that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. I get it. But still, like, that's her personality. And I feel like, you know, that's her mother-in-law. I know for me, my mother-in-law, I want to be so close to her, and I am. And I tell her dang near everything. Everything I'm going through, she gets to hear about it. Trust me, sometimes she probably don't want to, because I'm a very dramatic and emotional type of person. But, you know, like, I kind of I didn't like that she said that, but I understand that is her point of view. And some of y'all may be like that. Some of y'all may be like that. You don't like people telling you your personal business, but at the same time, that's, I don't know. I was just like,
I guess it depends on who it is. For me, if like I was to have a daughter and her husband came up to me and wanted to vent to me about, let's say, his work life or something, I don't think I would mind. I don't have a daughter. I don't have these things, so I can't really relate on the level like you or Cindy can relate on. But I feel like I could probably give my proper answer because of course I've had people vent to me before. And if my, let's say, son-in-law were to vent to me, or like my daughter-in-law wanted to vent to me, or like I doubt my daughter-in-law would want to vent to me. Like, if I had a wife, then maybe my wife. But like, I get it. Like, I feel like I'd be okay with it, obviously, because I don't want them to think that I wouldn't want to be there for them if they ever needed me, right? I think that's fair. And that's just, yeah, again, she said it perfectly. That's just people's personalities. I don't think she meant any harm by it, so that is a bit odd that she would say something like that. Like, if you found, like, so uncomfortable, like it was, like, a bad thing that she was that way. It's like, that shouldn't have been really all that bad, honestly. It's just a weird thing to critique. Like, you're looking for something to just, like, give an excuse on why, you just didn't like them. If you didn't like her, just say you didn't like her, right? But you're giving all these excuses to kind of, I guess, ease the blow of it because of what happened to her. I don't know. And again, I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
So what? So what if she wanted to open up to you? You're her mother-in-law. She's trying to build a bond with you. She's trying to show you how much she trusts you. Anyways, child, let's move on to the next thing. Another thing that she was saying about Shanann was that Shanann, I guess, had that house built. She said it was like a $500,000 home, was huge, had 3 formal dining rooms, had all of this expensive furniture and some pieces that were flown in from Italy, and that Shanann really, like, more or less, she was saying she was like a very materialistic person and that she liked nice things, but that she did work hard for her things. And I don't really see the problem with that either. If she works hard and she wants to spend her money on the things that she likes and that the house is beautiful and she wants to make it her own, like, I don't see a problem with that. But she kept referring back to the point that, like, they're such simple people. Well, I get that too, because I consider myself to be a simple person too. But, if Shanann wanted to have a big, beautiful home, a dream home, like, what's the big deal with that? She was saying about how, like, when Shanann went to go have the house built, she supposedly took, like, now this is all alleged, I don't know, this is just things that are in the book. She supposedly took a suitcase full of $20,000 and was like, here's the, to show the builders that she was serious about it. I think that's incredible. Honey, go ahead, do your thing. Be a strong woman. Get your own. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't depend on nobody to have to get you something. Yes, if people that we love help us or can help us, that's great. But so what? I think that's incredible, honey. Take that suitcase full of 20 stacks up there and say, I'm here and I ain't playing. Like, I think that's awesome.
She worked hard for her money. And she has the right to spend it in any way she wants. Sounds like Cindy viewed that as her bragging about how much money she has and how everything has to be expensive and how everything has to be beautiful and nice. And I've met people who get annoyed by things like that. Like, oh, I spent like, it only cost me about, $50,000 or something like that. And, I'm not saying I'm one who likes when people brag about money. Not really. It's not really for me, but I'm not going to sit there and, make a big deal about it. I'm not going to sit there and bash them for it. It's like, oh, they probably worked hard for that money. I know someone right now who's a tattoo artist who have done tattoos for like the Cincinnati Bengals, was in my class, and she's killing it with her life right now, and she's doing an amazing job. Her husband was also in my class, and he's out there he's a pharmacist, and they are making big bucks right now, and they're killing it. And good congratulations. Do I get a little bit jealous when I see their vacation photos? Yeah, I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could go on vacation, but I'm not going to sit there and say they're bad people because they worked hard to get their money and are going out and living a little bit. By God, if I was making money, I'd be at Universal Studios right now filming a vlog. So it's like, no, I have no issue with that because it's like, no, she's living life. She's buying the things she wants. Let her do it. It's not a big deal. Fuck, anybody would if they had the money, right?
But the thing about it, though, you will find if you read the book, at the end of the book, you find out that they end up, Shanann and Chris filed bankruptcy, allegedly, according to Cindy Watts. And I guess all in the bankruptcy, it was like a bunch of trips because she's saying that, Shanann, because she was in this internet world, she was always taking these trips. They were always going, like, they'd go out of the country and take all of these vacations and, like, buy all of this stuff, and had a Lexus and an Escalade and all of these, like, really nice expensive cars. But supposedly, according to the bankruptcy and the way that it she was insinuating, is maybe she didn't really have all of this money, and maybe she was really just going into debt. I don't really know what that meant as far as in the book. I don't really know why she put that in there, like their financial things, unless she's just trying to paint this picture of who Shanann was. But
kind of makes it sound like she was trying to make Shanann look like a liar or something like that maybe she wasn't honest, and maybe, making her think that she was, like, making a lot of money from working hard and putting them into debt. I don't know, but that's kind of what she kind of, yes, painting her out to be like. And personally, I don't think it's anybody. Personally, I don't think it was any of her business to kind of post all of her financial shit. Like, is that really any of your business, first off and foremost, for you to be publishing in your book to profit off of? I don't know. Very odd indeed. I don't know.
So
Ow!
Things happen. People file bankruptcy sometimes. Sometimes things happen, like that's life. She was also saying about how Shanann would always tell her, or did tell her, that she, had been divorced before. So I guess Chris was Shanann's second husband, and Shanann was always saying about how she put her husband through school and all of that stuff. So that's kind of a useless piece of information, but if you don't know, now you know. And then she was saying what made her very uncomfortable, or one of the things that made her very uncomfortable about Shanann, was that Shanann would always, like, talk about Chris's appearance or talk down to him to his mom. And I can see how that would make her feel uncomfortable. If I did that to my mother-in-law, that would make her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can definitely see that part. That part is that part's a little bit justified. Yeah, I don't, like, if I had a kid, obviously I would not want some, their wife or somebody coming up and, like, shit talking my son. I'd be like, okay, yeah. Or, like, the appearance of him, like, he can't fix that. That's something that my son cannot fix. So either you're happy with the way he looks or you're not, or it's like, but yeah, I can understand that. That makes sense to me. That of all the criticism so far, that one actually, yeah. And I don't mean to cut her off a lot, but I want to give my thoughts out there before she really dives into her opinion. I do get that. As somebody who was bullied on his appearance, it's not fun. And it certainly wouldn't be fun to hear my own son being bullied on his appearance, or my kid, or whatever. Yeah, it would not be for me.
I can see that if that's really what happened. We don't really know. But she was saying that Shanann was really fixated on looks and really talked about people's appearance a lot. So I kind of get the gist from the money, from the house, from the trips, the materialistic things, from Shanann always being on social media and doing Facebook and stuff like that, and then talking about people's appearance. I kind of get the gist that she's trying to insinuate that Shanann was shallow, that she was a shallow human being. And look, this is how I look at it, you guys. People are different, right? I've got a different personality than you got a different personality. And I'm just a firm believer in we accept people for who they are, as long as they are not hurting anybody, or they're decent human beings, or they take care of their children and they go to work. Like, who cares? Like, right? Like, that's just who they are. We got to quit trying to make people who we want them to be. We got to quit trying to make our family members and our friends and fit into our little box of who we expect them to be, and just love them for who they are.
Amen to that. I know several people right now who are dealing with in-laws right now, and sometimes they feel like their in-laws don't view them in certain ways like you think they should view them. You should be happy with whoever your kids pick as their true love, right? I mean, that's the reality of it. You should accept them no matter who they are. That is the person your child has chosen as to be the person they spend the rest of their lives with. You should respect that. Respect it. Doesn't mean you have to like everything, but you can at least be respectful about it and just accept it. Like, that's a big thing. I think that more people, actually, I'd say more people are coming around to accepting more people often today than they ever did.
Like I said, as long as they're not, like, hurting people or doing, like, whatever.
I get you.
Cindy also said that she felt like Chris was always looking for approval from Shanann. Well, like, always trying to impress her, always trying to, well, he was a passive-aggressive guy, according to his mama, and that's unfortunately sometimes what passive-aggressive people do. I don't know if that's necessarily Shanann's fault. Like, I mean, me and my husband kind of do that with each other. We're always trying to, you know, do nice things for each other or make each other happy or make each other's life a little bit easier, right? Like, I don't really see what the big problem. I mean, maybe she saw things differently than what we know, but like all of these things that she kind of talked about Shanann, that in my opinion in the book kind of tried to be turned to the negative. She also said that Chris bought her a $12,000 engagement ring and that she was basically shook by that, like that is a down payment on a house or a car or whatever. And I don't know what to say about that. Like, sometimes people are like that, and I think that if that's, you know, although I don't need a $12,000 engagement ring, as a matter of fact, even my engagement ring, I was shocked that he got me what he got me. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have never asked for something as beautiful as he got me, and I'm so thankful. But, you know, like if that's what she liked and he was willing to put in the work and do whatever it took, clear out his savings account or whatever and buy that for her, then that's
his choice.
That's their business. If Chris was happy, I mean, but I guess at the end of the day, maybe he wasn't happy. See, it's all so confusing. The whole entire thing is so confusing. Cindy also kind of talked about like Shanann's like social media thing. And let me tell you guys something right now. There is a lot of people that even judge me, you know, family members or whatever, that, you know, just kind of think like, oh, she loves her. Christina loves herself so much. She films herself.
I'll be honest with you. If any of my family members watch me and think I'm wasting my time or nothing, I truly don't care. I truly do not care what a lot of my family thinks about what I talk about or do online. I personally, heart to heart, I do not care what they think. I am doing what I want to do with my life, and either you respect that or I just don't care. It is what it is.
Talking.
Thankfully, most of my family thinks it's pretty neat and are very happy for me and very proud of me. So I am thankful for that. But if there are any out there that don't like it, tough.
Puts it on the internet. You know, people don't understand the magnitude of the internet nowadays. Like, this is the way of the future. Like, Facebook, Instagram, this is 2019, almost 2020. Like, we gotta quit snubbing our noses to social media because we are forever evolving, and social media is a huge part of that. So I think the fact that Shanann, which according to Chris in an interview, he said that she made more money than he did with her Thrive and her online stuff. Like, if she was killing the game and making good money and helping people get healthier, like, go off, do your thing. And being able to work from home and be with her kids, like, there is nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Cindy also tells a story in this book about how, like, when I guess they were all together for a family event and Chris and Shanann and them had traveled for out of town, and Chris's sister has a little boy who was 3 years old who really loved his Uncle Chris and wanted to be around his Uncle Chris. And so every morning the first thing he would do is wake up, the little boy would, and run to his Uncle Chris's door where Shanann and Chris were sleeping and knock on the door and wake them up. Well, I guess after a couple days, Shanann got upset about it and told Chris to go talk to his mom and his sister and them and say, hey, tell the little boy quit waking us up. This is our vacation too, and I want to sleep in. And that really rubbed his mama, Cindy, wrong. Now, I can see both sides of that coin. One, me, it's a little boy. He's 3 years old. He's super excited. He wants to see his uncle. Like, I get that. The other token, I see that maybe, you know, 1, 2, 3 days is fine. But after that, can you keep him so I can sleep in a little bit and then Uncle Chris can spend the whole entire day with him? Cindy really was bothered by that. But I guess I can see both sides of it.
To me, I don't think it was worth even mentioning, though. It's like, okay, who hasn't been annoyed by something, right? Look, yeah, it's a little kid. Obviously, I'm not saying that the kid was in the wrong. Of course not. But if they're trying to sleep in, there's nothing wrong with someone trying to sleep in, right? They probably have kids of their own. They probably, want to sleep in before they have to wake up and mess with them. And that makes no sense to me why you would even mention it, besides just trying to paint that person in a bad light. It literally feels like you're grasping at straws at that point, trying to find anything. Like, yeah, people can be annoyed, right? Like you were annoyed with, all the things that Shanann was doing. She probably did not, after a few days, it might come off a little annoying where this kid's always waking them up early in the morning. I get it. I get it. Yeah, she makes perfect sense. Everything. Me and you are very similar on our opinions, I've noticed. Like, I almost don't even have to say anything because we're pretty much on point.
But like it is her vacation too. Maybe she did want to sleep in a little bit. Maybe he could spend the rest of the day. Chris came to Cindy and said something, and Cindy held a grudge or whatever against Shanann about it. Like, what's the big deal if she wants to sleep in? Also, what's the big deal if the little boy, you never get to see him and you're out of town, you're on vacation, and your nephew wants to come and knock on your door? So I don't know. I guess I see both sides of the coin of that. Did you guys hear about that? If you did, let me know what y'all think about that one. She also talked about Shanann's illnesses, and she also was basically more or less saying that Shanann diagnosed or had her children diagnosed or whatever. This is all alleged. This is all in my own words. Her children with all of these issues, asthma and different stuff, and was giving them Tylenol every single night and giving them all of these different medications. And she did not believe that her granddaughters had these illnesses. She believed that Shanann was just doing this, and it really bothered her. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought that was really weird, whether it is true or not. Like, you can just tell. Cindy constantly tried to remind people in the book that she wanted to welcome Shanann with open arms and all of this, but it really doesn't sound like it. It sounds from the very beginning to me that Cindy did not like Shanann for whatever reason. And I just can't help but to wonder if it's a classic old case of nobody's good enough for my baby boy.
It's kind of exactly what you just said, yeah. It does sound like this typical case of, no one's good enough for him, and automatically, it probably wouldn't even been just Shanann. If it was anybody, hell, it could have been Nicole Kessinger, and she probably would have still had the same mindset. I definitely feel the same way you do, and I have not read the book. I'm going by what you're saying. I'm taking everything you're saying to heart. It's not even just the book. It is also, this is something that I felt when just listening to her talk during the interview. I felt she already just didn't like Shanann from the beginning. I just felt that. I'm like, this woman did not care for Shanann no matter what.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think you're right.
She's still almost in her tone, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, almost still kind of blames Shanann for Chris murdering Shanann. Listen, people are unhealthy in their marriages every day, okay?
But they don't just kill.
There are so many unhappy people. I think the divorce rate, last time I checked, was like 50% or almost 50%, which is like literally almost half of the population gets divorced. People don't just kill their wives and their children. You cannot, it doesn't matter what Shanann.
Yeah, there was no reason besides just, I think it was Chris. Chris himself, I think, was the issue. And I think he wanted a fresh start at what he was wanting in life. He wanted a fresh start. He didn't want to be with Shanann no more. To him, he was just burnt out on it. So he wanted a new start. And unfortunately, he took that path, that route.
Unless
should never have happened.
Like literally had him locked him in the closet, was beating him or whatever, and he felt like he had to get away. Like, all of these reasons or things, or the high maintenance that she basically referred to Shanann as, or more or less in better words, called her basically insinuating that she was very vain and, materialistic. And
right.
Even all of that is not
enough
reason to kill somebody.
No,
so
and I just said enough, like, oh, anything should have been enough. No, murder is murder. If you're not happy, divorce. If you're not happy, divorce. That's all there is to it. It would have been done. She would have been going on with her life. You would have been doing whatever you were doing with probably Nicole Kessinger. It would have been done. But instead, you did this. He deserves everything that's coming his way. Everything.
I think Cindy really needs to get some therapy. She really needs to get some help. And I feel bad for her in the fact of like,
she shouldn't have even made a book. Why the F are you making a book about this? You're in the wrong. Straight up blunt, you're in the wrong. Shanann is not she is not the sole reason on why Chris did what he did. Chris is a full-ass grown man. He knew better. He had issues. He wanted a fresh start. He did what he did because he said, F it. I want a fresh start. I don't want Shanann no more. I don't want my kids no more. So screw it. So that's one of the reasons why I get so aggravated when I hear him talking all positivity about the people he had killed. It's like, you have no right to even talk positively about these kids. You have no right to say these things about Shanann. You have no right to talk about them innocent children. You have no right to talk about them. They shouldn't even be coming out of your mouth. Those names should not be coming out of your mouth. You've lost all the rights or any ounce of me giving a shit of you talking about them.
She lost her grandchildren and her daughter-in-law, whether she cared for her or not. You know, her life was valuable, and her son. And she also said she was hurt to find out that she felt like her and Chris always had an amazing relationship. And then once he got arrested and started doing interviews, that's when she heard from Chris that maybe their relationship wasn't so good the whole time. So I think she needs to do some soul searching. You know, I really do. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting help. I've done it many times. I'll do it again if I need to. Like, there is nothing wrong with wanting to be a better person and thinking like a better person and having to sort out things and deal with things. So I don't know if she's in therapy or not, but I really hope that she gets in it and can heal from all of this, because it's just a lot. I cannot imagine what they've gone through. All right, my loves, y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole thing. Have you read the book? What do you think about my opinions? What do you think about Cindy Watts? What do you think about Cindy Watts, Shanann's relationship? I know a lot of you guys know a lot about this stuff, so I would really love to hear what y'all have to say. If you guys have any requests for other video topics or anything like that, let me know down below. Other than that, please don't forget to like this video. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Okay. Yeah. So my opinion on Cindy Watts really hasn't changed. I have not read the book. I probably won't read the book only because I just personally, after hearing this, and obviously I kind of had a feeling this is where it was going to go, I just don't agree with her opinion. I don't blame Shanann for anything that happened. Shanann was completely innocent in this matter. And the things that she was criticizing for, I think we're just grasping at straws again. I think she was just trying to find anything to just make it sound like Chris had an excuse to do what he did, and he didn't. He didn't. The thing he could have done was to either, like she said, get therapy to get him some help, or better yet, just get a divorce and just end it there. A much better thing to do. But the guy had issues. The guy he was not mentally there. He was a little bit psychotic. A little bit might be an understatement. The guy was full-blown psychotic. He's a heartless who didn't show any emotions during that interview or anything like that. The only time he showed emotions was when he got caught. To me, he's just a heartless and I have nothing nice to say about him anymore. Anymore. Like I had anything to say nice about him in the beginning. I have nothing nice to say about him. And he deserves to rot in prison for the rest of his life. Now, Cindy Watts, obviously, I do agree with Christina. I do agree with Christina when she does say things like that she did lose a lot. She did lose a lot, and I do feel bad for that. That is something I will always be like, yeah, that is unfortunate that you lost what you lost. But the way she has handled this is not painted her off to be a great person, unfortunately. It's not like I can't understand where she's coming from. It's not like I can't understand that she's a mom, but to me, writing a book about this, why? But let me know what you guys think down below. What are your thoughts on this? Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to hear your opinions, so leave your comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The more likes these videos get, the more I will go ahead and keep reacting to Christina Randall and continue to go down this path of the whole Chris Watts case. Learning more every day, as much as I can. I'm learning as much as I can, along with you guys, or just you guys are watching me learn. So until next time, please do take care.